Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. If you noticed, I'm folding my arms, and in this video I'm gonna tell you why do people fold their arms. This is a video about body language and we're discussing this specific gesture of folding the arms. Folding the arms in body language is called the defensive position. In simple words, when the brain feels like it wants to defend itself in a way or another, it sometimes lets the person unconsciously does this gesture. So the first takeaway you have to get out of this video is that most body language gestures happen unconsciously. You do not say, okay, it's time to fold my arms right now, so let's do it. No, it does not happen like that. In simple words, the brain feels something and it sends you a signal and you automatically find yourself doing it. And in order not to confuse yourself with conscious versus subconscious videos, think of something as simple as respiration. Right now, you're breathing as you're watching this video. You're doing it unconsciously. You do not really control it. Yes, of course, if you decided to control it, you will be able to control it. But otherwise, it's happening unconsciously. So, what is simply meant by an unconscious gesture is that it's a gesture that the brain does automatically for you without your intervention. So, back to folding the arms. You will find this gesture very common amongst people who are standing alone in a street where they know nobody. They are waiting for somebody and they are not feeling comfortable. So, they are standing and their brains feel like they need to protect themselves because they do not know anybody around them, so they fold their arms. So, the first situation where this gesture happens is where the person feels slightly uncomfortable. You will find this very common when a person is standing amongst people that they don't know, or when a person is sitting around people that they don't know and they are not feeling comfortable. If the person feels comfortable, that's a totally different story. You will also realize or notice that shy people usually take this gesture most of the time when they are around strangers or people they are not comfortable with. So that's another situation where this gesture happens. Secondly, the second case where this gesture happens is when the person feels offended. You will find in verbal fights that this gesture happens very often. Somebody said something that offended the other person, and the one who got offended will usually fold their arms this way. And in body language, the person who does this gesture was offended and he didn't really manage to respond back. He just felt offended and he did nothing about it. Compare this to somebody who became angry and started shouting, it would be rare that you find them folding their arms. But if somebody got offended and they carried it inside them, you will usually find them folding their arms this way. And if you're talking to somebody and after you said something, immediately the person folded their arms, you might want to check what you said exactly to this person that made them do something like that. The third situation where this gesture happens is where the brain feels like it needs to protect the person. Again, the subconscious mind does not really think using logic. I will talk about this in another video. But for this video, just understand that the subconscious mind sometimes forces you to do something without you really realizing that you're doing it. And if the brain felt like it needs to protect yourself, it might let you do this gesture. This will be very common when you see a street accident, a horrible accident that happened in the street. You will find that among the bystanders who were watching the accident, many of them will just fold their arms. In simple words, their brains felt like it needs to protect them, and this is why it made them fold their arms without them realizing that they are doing it. This information is going to be very useful if you're trying to convince somebody to buy something, if you work in sales, or if you're trying to convince somebody with anything, like just any random topic. For example, if you're trying to sell something to a person and he was listening to you, or they were listening to you, and as soon as you said something about the price, for example, like this costs $1,000, the person fold their arms immediately. As soon as you said something like this, make sure that the person did not like the price, and then you have to change your strategy or talk about something else, such as, for example, the advantages of the product you're offering. Finally, some people have developed the habit of folding their arms in so many places, like this might be their default state. That's a bad habit because just like body language happens or the gesture happens because your brain felt something, you also give a specific impression to the person watching you, even if they do not know anything about body language. People will sense that you are not comfortable. So, for example, it's not a good idea to fold your arms in a job interview, and generally try to avoid this gesture as much as you can. That was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe for more interesting, shocking psychological videos and stay tuned. Till the next video, take care of yourselves.